My acquaintance with the Kosovo issue started in 1999 when the bombings of Serbia began. And when I read that in the paper, I said to myself, if because of the Albanians of Kosovo, Serbia is being bombed, then tomorrow NATO may bomb Tel Aviv because the Arabs of the Galilee want to leave Israel, or they have some grievance against Israel. And therefore, it is time to be involved with this issue, which I believe has an international importance. And I published an article in the Jerusalem Post under the headline, Piracy, International Piracy in Kosovo. And somebody in Serbia read that, and therefore they contacted me and they invited me to a conference on the topic and so on. And since then I have been going back and forth to Serbia and linked to this topic. So what I would like to say here, in the very brief time we have, is perhaps 3 or 4 remarks, quite limited. The first one is about the geostrategic issue at hand. As you know, America is directly involved, and because of the leadership of America, the entire West is recognizing, or will recognize shortly, the so-called independence of Kosovo declared just last week. And in America, the situation may even get worse, because, as you know, we have 2 Democratic candidates, Mr. Obama and Mrs. Clinton, one of whom is likely to be elected president, and both of them have a much tougher stand to the Kosovars' benefit than even the Republicans today. You know, somebody told me that the daughter of Clinton, Chelsea, you all know her name, was speaking to a group of Republicans in Washington, trying to convince them to support her mother. And one of the Republicans said, "Oh, look, Chelsea, America has 3 big problems. One is Osama, the second is Obama, and the third is your mama." So that gives you an idea of what kind of problems we are going to face right after the elections in America. Now, why is there a problem? You know that in the beginning of the Clinton administration, that was 15 years ago, the Clinton administration came up with the idea that in order to prevent the fall of so-called moderate Islamic countries into the orbit of fundamentalist Islam, of Iran and Saudi Arabia and so on, it is better to rally them together under the leadership of America to follow the Turkish model. Turkish model was considered to be moderate, and therefore their idea was to create a continuity from the Middle East via Turkey and westwards to the Balkans, including such countries that they thought were moderate, like Bosnia, like Kosovo, like parts of Macedonia, in order to prevent fundamentalist Islam from taking over those areas. But the problem is that they were wrong. They were wrong because Turkey, which was the anchor of this program, was taken over in December 2002 by fundamentalist Islamic Party, which is now governing Turkey. That is to say, Turkey is no longer a model of moderate Islam to be followed. Not only that, it turned out when the Bosnian war started in the early 90s, that Izetbegovic, who had written, as you know, from the early 70s, his booklet turned into a book, The Islamic Revolution in Bosnia, was preaching and it is very clear in his writing, some kind of fundamentalist Islamic country to be established in Bosnia. And what he had in mind is to link it very clearly, not to moderate countries, but to fundamentalist countries like Iran or like Saudi Arabia. You should know that until today, there is a daily flight between Tehran and Sarajevo. And you can imagine that in those planes, they don't bring nurses or sweets. And that is very dangerous for the existence of the Balkans or of Europe in general. And when you see all those phenomena, then you come to the conclusion, as I have come to, and I have just completed the book, which is now in press in London. It is called The Third Invasion of Islam to Europe. And this is what I can consider the invasion, part of which is the Balkans, part of which is Bosnia and Kosovo, and some time ago also Macedonia in a way, because there was a civil war in Macedonia. The Albanians wanted to take over there, and the Europeans, the European Union, forced the Macedonian government to share power with the Albanians in Macedonia. So a third of the power in Macedonia is already Albanian. Plus you have Bosnia, plus now you will have Kosovo, so you will have a continuity of Islam into the heart of Europe. If you looked at the map before of Europe, you could see continuity of Christianity coming down from Russia, especially Orthodox Christianity, coming down from Russia via Central Europe and down to Greece and the Aegean Sea. It was all Christian. Now with Bosnia and Kosovo and Macedonia right there in the middle, and even the southern part of Serbia, Sanjak, where there is an Albanian minority, that continuity of Islam was broken. And it was broken by two wedges of Islam, which were driven right into the heart of Europe. And if you take that together with the invasion of Islam via demography and immigration into the heart of Europe, you have some 30 million Muslims in Europe today, in the 27 countries of the European Union. 27 countries with 30 million people. 6 million of them in France, 3 million each in Germany and Britain, and then the rest distributed throughout Europe. The Islamization of the Balkan, or the re-Islamization of the Balkan today, is part and parcel of that scheme. So one has to look at it in that light, or rather obscurity, if you like. You know, in the year 1453, when Mehmed III, the Ottoman emperor, invaded Constantinople and turned it into a Muslim city, he marched with his horse, paraded with his horse, white horse, through the streets of Istanbul, then still Constantinople, and he declared, "I am Mehmed the Conqueror." He did not come as Mehmed the Liberator, or Mehmed the Moderator, or Mehmed the Conciliator, or Muhammad the Peacemaker. He came as Mehmed the Conqueror. And they tried.